latest consumer price index report was just released minutes ago, and the first inflation report since President Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Here's a look at those numbers. Inflation ticked up slightly last month, rising to 2.7%. That's a 0.2% increase from the month of June. All this comes just hours after President Trump extended a 90-day tariff truce with China, avoiding triple-digit penalties on imports that could have triggered a virtual trade embargo. Economists say these key events will set the tone for markets, Fed policy, and your wallet in the weeks ahead. Joining us now is Peter Dunn, CEO of Your Moneyline, to help us make sense of all that's going on with the markets and consumer prices this morning. Peter, good morning to you. So 2.7%, is that what you expected? And what does that tell us about where the economy is headed from here?
I think Jerome Powell's going to have some decisions to make at this fall Fed meeting. This is pretty decent, right? Markie, you and I look at this as like, okay, what's going on in the grocery store? What's going on in the gas pump?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the grocery store and the gas pump pulled the numbers down. If you take out the gas pump and you take out food, the inflation rate in July was 3.1. But since you take those out, it actually, or you add them back in, it drops it down to 2.7. So this is good news. But I also have to admit, and you and I both know this because we've been talking about it for 5 months, the impact of the tariffs hasn't really hit yet because they keep getting delayed. So kind of a mixed report in that regard.
And I was going to ask you, about the tariffs. Obviously, we're still waiting on the big one, China, a couple other big ones, too. How baked in to the numbers are the current tariffs at this point?
Not a lot, a little bit on apparel, a little bit on oddly enough, infant clothes up something like 3.3%. So if you're in the market
That's good timing for me, expecting in a month.
It's a bit on the nose. Congrats, by the way. I think that's a little bit of an issue. There's little ones, apparel, shoes are a little bit of an issue. But the countries that are producing a lot of shoes right now are discussing how to bake in those price increases so they don't impact sales. We did see used car prices come down a little bit in July. But again, Markie, that's one of those that once the tariffs really do kick in and have a good 30, 60 days, it's going to go up.
I know you mentioned right off the top, Jerome Powell is going to have some decisions to make. Of course, the next Fed meeting, mid-September. I mean, based on the numbers today, what should that decision be when it comes to, keeping interest rates steady or lowering them?
I hesitated whether to say this, but if we're taking the numbers at face value, right? If we're taking the CPI numbers at face value, then I think he has to lower interest rates by a quarter point. And I don't think we're in a position just a few days from the removal of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics I don't think it makes a lot of sense to question these numbers. They feel pretty baked, but I think he's going to have to lower rates a 0.25%. The strange part about that, Markie, by the time we get to that mid-September meeting, the true impact of the tariffs might have actually kicked in. And so it's going to be a little bit of a juggling act.
Yeah. I did want to get your thoughts, too, on the fact that President Trump has officially named E.J. Antony, as the next head of the BLS, a top economist at the Conservative Heritage Foundation. What do you make of that move, and what do you think that means in terms of where the Bureau is headed from here?
I think you're going to see more positive numbers for the Trump administration. And that's not a conspiratorial sort of idea that I'm sharing there. My biggest concern, I shared this with you last week, my biggest concern is if inflation numbers aren't right and some of these jobs numbers aren't right, then Social Security, retirement, cost of living adjustments, which should be coming out pretty soon, are going to be off. You're going to see a lot of seniors' financial lives going backwards in 2026. That actually, doesn't keep me up at night, not that I lack empathy, but that's a big concern of mine.
Just about 20 seconds left. What should everyday Americans do with this CPI report that just dropped in terms of planning, prepping, budgeting?
Yeah, I mean, see, I'll have an omelet party. Price of eggs went down quite a bit in July. Maybe start there, but lay off the beef because it's expensive. I don't know. Take it while you can get it because who knows what's going to happen the next 30 days. But July was pretty good, and there's no reason to think August won't be good as well.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.